And it looks like I am live. This is the most 2020 thing imaginable. Tonight was or is my last show of the year. I'm taking New Year's Eve off. I'm taking New Year's Day off. It's only fitting that to wrap up this entire year, my guest for tonight blew me off. So I'm solo. I didn't want to go without doing a show for my last show of the year. So here I am. I'm guestless. Let's talk. What's on your mind? It's the last show of the year. So I've got to be honest. This week, I'm just drained. I'm emotionally exhausted this week. A lot of people around me now have been affected by COVID. I now can say I know people who have been hospitalized, family members who've been hospitalized by COVID, family friends hospitalized. It's draining. So we're all ready for 2020 to end. And on that note, I realized this is probably my last shot at wearing this shirt. I could wear it tomorrow too, but this is it. So I wanted to get my mileage out of it. Let's see. I started this a couple weeks ago for people who sign up for my mailing list on carconcarne.com. If you're interested, let me know. I've got a few cards left. You could be part of the elite few, this strike force of nerds that is part of Club Con Carne. And you can sign up for the mailing list at carconcarne.com. So, as I mentioned, COVID, please, New Year's Eve is tomorrow. Please be safe. Please be smart. I feel like as it pertains to the impending vaccinations of us all, it's kind of like that last scene in the movie The Mist. The monsters are about to be beaten back so close. Don't be Thomas Jane. Don't do anything rash. Just be smart and safe. The monsters will be pushed back, hopefully soon. Alan just checked in. How do you feel about the best album of the year, Hum's Inlet? Best album of the year? It's up there. It was really good. And this was in a year where we needed nice surprises. We needed things to cheer us up, to pull us out of the muck. That Hum album, that was the right album at the right time. I don't think we realized how much we missed that band. What a great album that is. Natalie says, I can wear this shirt forever. People will just smile and nod in recognition. Yeah. If you live through it, you know, right? But going back to albums, best albums of the year, I did talked about this in my last newsletter too. Talked about the best albums of 2020 on the other podcast I do. I do a podcast for 101 WKQX with John Manley, the talented, the almost disarmingly handsome John Manley. We talked about the best of 2020, and you can listen to that on all the podcast platforms if you choose. Other stuff I mentioned in that most recent e-blast, I talked about best of 2020 stuff. Movies I enjoyed watching, movies I wished I hadn't seen in 2020. You can add Wonder Woman 1984 to that list. I thought that was interminable. I thought it was brutal. Not enough Wonder Woman, and the action sequences weren't all that great. Save for the very beginning in Themyscira, which was really fucking cool. Other stuff that I mentioned in the e-blast best of, among the movies I enjoyed watching, I realized I didn't include many that came out this year. There were a few that I really liked this year. But if you haven't seen it yet, the movie Host on Shudder. I love the Shudder network. It's the horror channel. It's like the Netflix of horror. The movie Host, I've mentioned it before on this podcast. It's a movie that couldn't have existed 1 year ago, maybe less relevant 1 year from now. It all takes place on a Zoom chat. Talk about timely and talk about turning on a dime and getting something great out there in short order. It is legitimately chilling, scary, and even better, it's an hour long. That's it. Let's see. Mike just said, I'm just a Facebook message away. Who doesn't want to hear the Adderall-fueled ramblings of an unemployed food service professional? Chime in anytime, Mike. Those are welcome things. Another thing I mentioned in that email, that e-blast I put out most recently, things that I would love to see continue. I think we all would love to see continue when this magical herd immunity happens, when we're all okay to go out in the universe. Things that were necessities in our pandemic days that I think would be kind of cool in the future. First being live stream concerts. Yes, there are means to an end right now. No, they can't supplant the awesomeness of being there, being in a club, being in front of an amplifier, having that music push at your face. But there's something kind of great about it. As time has gone on during the pandemic, the live stream shows have gotten better. They've sounded better. They've looked better. It would be cool as we move into our new future to have that kind of access for shows we can't get into. If there's something cool happening halfway across the world, like Ibiza, it'd be cool to have that kind of live stream access for events or for small club shows that we can't possibly get into, being able to pay a small price to watch that stuff at home. That'd be cool. Supporting local business, we should always be doing that. We've been really good about it this year. Let's keep doing that. On that note, one of the things I've thrown myself into harder than ever this past year is record collecting. I love it. It's really been a great distraction for me. It's kept me busy. I love collecting vinyl. I'm going to show you a couple things I bought recently. You ready? Show and tell. I had earlier this year Ramsey Lewis as a guest on Car Con Carne. Bought this one, the live album, The In Crowd. I just feel cooler listening to this. This came out 64, maybe? It doesn't say. But I love these old records. Got this at Beverly Records in Beverly, which is like going to a vinyl museum. Musty. They've got stacks and a cajillion 7-inch singles. Love going to that place. When I work from home, which I do 9 to 5, I find that it's comforting to have music on, but not music that's too distracting, that suddenly I want to sing along with. I've been listening to a lot of scores and soundtracks as I've been working. So I've been looking for soundtracks on vinyl. I shared this earlier on my social media. Got the soundtrack also at Beverly of Superman 2. This is what makes vinyl collecting so fun. I didn't realize this existed like this. The Superman insignia. It's on the record. I love this kind of stuff. And it's got the Superman theme on it from John Williams. I enjoyed listening to this so much, I went on eBay 2 days ago. And shortly, or soon, I will have the first Superman movie soundtrack on vinyl arriving at my door. Also got this. This is a repressing of a classic soundtrack, The Exorcist. I'm telling you, Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. Because of The Exorcist, it still sounds haunting and chilling, but what a tremendous composition that is. You got to love. This is the beauty of vinyl. The gatefold. There's Regan. There she is. Also, no secret, I love John Carpenter. Sandy King Carpenter was on the show recently. Got this on vinyl. John Carpenter's Lost Themes. This is so good. Vortex, that first song on the first side. Just absolutely love it. Black vinyl. But I've been listening to a lot of scores and soundtracks. It's kind of like living through Lord of the Rings as I work. I feel triumphant. I just need a broadsword or something as I work. But having a hobby, having something to focus on other than this podcast has been super helpful during the pandemic. It hasn't been the most affordable thing to do. But having that distraction has been a very good thing, a very necessary thing. One other thing, as I've been collecting vinyl, I put together a stereo system. Thanks to my friends at Siren Records, ding, put together a stereo system, something I hadn't had for years, the ability to listen to analog. I can't actually put this cover back on. So now apparently I'm back into collecting cassettes. I bought this recently. Haven't had this in hard copy for a while. The first Bob Mould solo album, Workbook. How great is this album? I mean, right? It's fantastic. So I'm listening to cassettes again, and I'm realizing used cassettes are expensive. I've seen them for anywhere between $3 and $10 a piece for old cassettes. I've said it before on this podcast, kind of an inferior medium, but it's kind of fun going through and finding this stuff again. Right behind me, I've got Diesel and Dust by Midnight Oil and Strip by Adamant. It's kind of fun collecting that stuff again. So I'm hoping you're all good. There's nothing worse than getting blown off, but it is par for the course. That is the year we're living in, 2020. And to be fair, my guest was a Pilates instructor. I don't want to say anything snarky because that might put me in the bad graces of the publicist who sent the Pilates instructor my way, but maybe not a perfect fit for me. Maybe that's my lesson. That's my takeaway from tonight. One final thing I want to note. Another pain in the ass of this week, another final 2020ism that's been part of my life. Identity theft. I had my debit card identity thieved recently. You don't realize how much stuff you have connected to a debit card or credit card until it's no longer valid. For me, it was on this one debit card alone. Amazon, Hulu, HBO Max, Shutter, which I mentioned, even my auto order of From dog food for Shazam the dog, all connected to the same card. That's such a pain in the ass. That is such a 2020 thing. Anyway, this is my last show for the year. I'm guestless. Thank you for playing along for this brief moment together. I didn't want to leave the year without doing something tonight. Back next week with a full week of shows, and we're going to keep doing it until we're all safe. I'm going to keep doing this stuff from home. Thank you for your support this year. It really does mean a lot. It's a challenging year for all of us. Thank you for being along for the ride. I really appreciate it. Happy New Year. I hope for you it is a safe, healthy, and happy one.